Hey guys, energy update, fourth week of October 2023. As we are closing out this month, there's some definite vibe shifts going on this week. We have made it through the most difficult parts of the month. From here on out through the rest of the month, actually, energy is going to begin to build. Very heightened excess energy going on this last several days of the month of October as Mars and Scorpio builds into an opposition actually with Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. Now, because Mars is in Scorpio, this could really be some like excessive emotional energy that we have going on. We're going to be talking a lot about this aspect throughout the course of this week, but generally we're having an opportunity to gain some expanded self-awareness, okay? And this energy is going to be very productively channeled into any type of work that we have going on, any projects, okay, any goals that we're working towards. Also, organization is very supported in the energy, and we got a lot of other stuff going on opening our week this week, you guys. Let's get into it. Let's look at this energy. How are things coming together for us, and what is it looking like for us as we move through the last week of October? Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, October 23rd, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of the report, I have also done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. Whenever I'm doing these videos, I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality, sort of see what's going on from an alternative energetic viewpoint. So we're going to do that at the end of the video as well. There could be some messages in there for you if you want to come with me for that. But first of all, let's start with the astrology. Of course, this week, like I said in my intro, we are about to begin picking up on some heightened energy levels that are building from now through like the 28th, 29th with our full moon that we have coming up in the sign of Taurus. This is because, like I said, Mars is currently transiting Scorpio and is about to begin building into an opposition with Jupiter. Now, if you guys remember, we also have Mercury right now in the sign of Scorpio, and the Sun is just entered the sign of Scorpio as well. So we have three personal planets, Sun, Mercury, Mars, all in Scorpio, and right now we have both Uranus and Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. So that means that over the course of this next month, next couple of weeks actually, we're going to be having, this week we're building into the Mars-Jupiter opposition, but following that we're also going to have Mercury and the Sun come into an opposition with Jupiter as well, and then they'll all three move on and come into an opposition with Uranus. So we're going to have some expanded energy levels. Essentially what this means, we're going to have some expanded energy going on over the course of this next couple of weeks as these personal planets come into the reflection, the sort of bouncing energy back and forth off of the planet that expands everything. So with both Mars and the Sun both having to do with energy levels coming to the opposition with Jupiter, this is just going to be a couple week period where energy is sort of heightened. You may find yourself just more inspired to, work out, go for a run, like there could be just some excess energy and we could just find ourselves feeling sort of more energized generally. Now, of course, there's going to be certain and specific themes that this is more geared towards, and if you want to know how it's going to play out or most likely to play out for you personally, of course, wherever you have Scorpio and Taurus in terms of the house placement in your own chart, these are the areas where you're probably going to be feeling kind of like motivated, maybe to like get to the bottom of something, or there could be some emotional energy that is like driving you to do something in some way. That's kind of how the energy is functioning, I feel like, this week. When we're talking about the Mars Scorpio energy, this is very like deep, passionate emotions, or almost like psychic or subconscious kind of like drives that are compelling our behavior, compelling like our actions or whatever we're doing. It also has a lot to do with like getting to the bottom of things, getting to the core, getting to the root, healing, regeneration, like solving problems. And it also can, of course, has to have to do with destruction and like breaking things down as well. With the opposition to Jupiter, Jupiter expands our understanding, expands our viewpoint. It also helps to add a layer of truth. So, it's almost like we're discovering a deeper truth about something that is kind of like having a side effect of like motivating us to like focus in on something or work towards something or pursue something like on an even deeper level. And we have an excessive amount of energy right now that is like being channeled along those lines. Okay, so it's likely to be just a very highly active week for one, but also just like moving into this next couple of weeks, the end of the month for sure, just a lot going on. Okay, this can also be a very lucky time, but on the other hand, it can be also a time where people are sort of like really taking maybe some foolish actions based on kind of like a sense of self-aggrandizement or not being able to perceive sort of like our own personal limitations as well. And we're going to be talking a lot about the energy that can manifest in the context of Mars opposing Jupiter as we, go through this week and as we move towards the full moon, of course, when this energy will be exact as well. And then, like I said, the sun is going to be following on the heels of Mars, and the sun, Jupiter can also sort of give like a similar feel. So this vibe is really what we're going to be experiencing and getting a better understanding of as this time plays out. So we're going to be talking about it, of course, a lot in these videos over the coming days. So there's going to be layers of this energy that we are getting to, but sort of like on the more superficial levels. On one hand, Jupiter is blessings, Jupiter is luck. And on the other hand, again, this sense of like being overly confident perhaps in our abilities and therefore taking foolish risks. So we want to like lean more into wise actions from like experience, based on experience in this energy, and not like blind faith, okay, just like in our ability to do whatever, because those are really the two octaves where we could see this manifesting, again, more on this like surface or superficial level. Also, there's a very financial element to what we have going on because of the Taurus Scorpio axis this is playing out in. On one hand, you kind of, again, like not taking foolish risks when it comes to spending money. But on the other hand, there's like this kind of like aggressive spending that could be associated with this vibe as well. Kind of makes me think of like deals, investments, like shark type of energy. But you could get some really great deals in this energy as well. And it could be, when we're really being very strategic about what we're putting our money into, very strategic investments going on, or things that we're attaching ourselves to or detaching or decoupling ourselves from as well, that has a very like expansive or productive or abundant outcome somehow. But on the other hand, you also want to be careful, because this could also be people really like inflating the value of things when we're talking about Jupiter inflation, expansion in the sign of Taurus. So, with Mars in the oppositional sign of Scorpio. So, like on one hand, where value has been overly inflated, we could see like breakdown and stuff like that. But on the other hand, strategic and wise like actions and choices like on our part in terms of the way that we are, navigating our reality and using our energy right now could lead to some very like fruitful and abundant investments in the long term as well. So, we just kind of want to like pay attention and make sure that we are not being sold something that has an overly inflated value strategy. Okay, with all this Scorpio energy, our ability to perceive all of life as a chessboard is gonna work in our favor right now. Scorpio energy does well to be like very strategic. This is like behind the scenes action. This is not Mars and Sagittarius where everything is on the table. This is like, holding our cards sort of close to our chest, like, being, as I keep mentioning, like very strategic in our actions, not being afraid to, just play the game in the way that, we feel like is going to get us maybe like the best outcome. Makes me think of like poker and stuff like that, like bluffing and stuff. So both ways, both ends of things, you gotta kind of watch out, but also like if you know how to navigate this energy, could be some very fruitful and abundant outcomes and results. but it is going to be, this is an opposition, okay? When we have oppositions going on, it's like a full moon. This is going to be like the climax. This is like the culmination in any energy cycle. And so this actually is going to be and represent some sort of culmination or climax in our efforts to expand the domain of our activity in our life, somehow. But it's going to have to do probably with what actually happened when Mars and Jupiter made their last conjunction. This represents and functions as the midpoint in that energy. And so really, whatever self-understanding on one hand, Jupiter rules understanding and Mars is the self, or like whatever it was that we were beginning to like expand into on either like a personal level. It's also Mars and Jupiter also can represent personal growth, especially right now with the North Node in the sign of Aries, also ruled by Mars. So it's like whatever phase of personal growth or expansion began, or self-understanding, or something along those lines, began with Mars and Jupiter coming into their latest conjunction. We are at the midpoint of that energy. So again, in Mars and Jupiter in an opposition is always going to represent some type of climax, culmination in a personal expansion, in the way that we are acting, again, like personal growth somehow in some domain of our lives. And again, that's probably going to have a lot to do with whatever houses or areas of life the Mars-Jupiter conjunction and now the Mars-Jupiter opposition have been playing out in. This also makes me think of like big sell-offs and also acquisitions with Mars and Scorpio. It's like destruction, but it's also creation and rebirth. So, there could be like revaluations of things going on right now. On the more, there could just be a very financial element to how this is playing out, and like changes happening also, especially, considering that after these planets make the opposition to Jupiter, they will begin heading into their opposition with Uranus. This is going to indicate a very a period of time that there are some very abrupt changes, maybe like a large shock factor to things that is sort of catching us off guard, hitting out of nowhere. And this again is likely to be hitting on the more like financial based levels. So there just could be things that are kind of like shifting, rearranging going on right now in terms of deals, investments, partnerships, and like financial things along those lines, financial agreements and stuff like that. But acting with wisdom, okay, acting with integrity, the higher octaves of this Jupiterian energy, believing in ourselves and our capabilities without biting off more than we can chew or like overdoing it on some level. This is all going to be very supportive as we move through this week. Taking foolish risks, again, like I mentioned earlier, resulting from overestimating ourselves or our abilities, very characteristic of this energy as well. Inspired to do more than perhaps we can. We are inspired to do more in this energy. Like it really makes us feel, it can make us feel very alive. It can make us feel, like just very active, very like motivated. And our energy is likely to be running higher, but we do need to realize our limitations. We really don't want to like burn ourselves out. For sure, this is energy where if you go too hard, you could burn yourself out, and it could end up being like ultimately more self-sabotaging than it is productive in the end. If we are, letting ourselves sort of spiral out of control of this energy, we need to keep a grip on our limitations and just try to do things in a way that's like ultimately sustainable, and not in a way that we're just sort of being whipped up in some type of frenzy and like think that we can do it all because we're on this energetic high. But the reality of it is, it just truly is an energetic high, and it is here to help us accomplish, some important productive stuff right now, but it's not a long-term energy. It's not a lasting energy. We definitely have like the gusto to move mountains, okay, especially with the simultaneous trine going on between the Sun and Saturn. But it's like there's work that needs to be done now, not later, like work that needs to be done now, and we need to get it done now. And then after this energy passes, following the full moon, there's probably going to be, while we do still have the Sun building into the opposition with Jupiter and everything, it's just, it's going to wane out at some point, and we don't want to find ourselves just totally like drained and zapped, and again, like put ourselves in a instead of like allowing this energy to help us get ahead, we don't want to find ourselves like trying to catch up with ourselves, I think is what I'm trying to say in the long term with this energy. So as long as we stay within our limitations, actions should all be very successful, very supported, and we should have a strong understanding actually of like what we're doing, what needs to be done. It's almost like this like internalized, because of the water energy, the feeling, the emotional energy, it's like this internalized knowing, this greater level of inner understanding of like what the next step is, how we can better organize our lives, like what systems need to be put in place right now to make sure that things flow in a more like efficient, productive, and streamlined manner, with the simultaneous, very constructive trine between the sun and the Saturn coming in as well. There's also this thing when we have a Mars-Jupiter opposition sort of with timing, and we also, like I keep mentioning, have Sun and Saturn trining this week, which Saturn is also the Lord of time, Lord of karma. So there is definitely like this element of like having good timing this week, and that good timing seeming like lucky or like facilitating some type of success or some type of like beneficial outcome or just some type of like positive ongoing or occurrence somehow. There's a special and like ability to be like more intuitive in terms of tuning into like when feeling like kind of like an urge, again with this Scorpio energy, like a compulsion to take an action to do something, but that actually the fact that you're just doing that and like following that at that moment being something that pays off. Having good timing is a lucky element of this energy. And at its core, and again, we're going to be talking a lot about this in our Wednesday report and of course in the full moon energy as well for this that's coming on the 28th, because this is just, it's energy building and it's building and will climax of course with the full moon, which is also our energetic climax of the month. So we're going to be feeling, I think, this heightened level of energy that is coming through, but at its core, expanding potential for self-understanding, you know, operating through its higher octaves as we move through this period of time, understanding our deeper motivations and drives with Mars and Scorpio, the nature of our own psyche on a deeper level. Also, you know, this is another one of those energies that is helping us to sort of tune in more to our own like sixth sense and like our own, you know, spidey senses and our own ability to be more psychic, okay, in our own experience. This is a very psychic energy that is being expanded in terms of our ability to like use that as a compass to navigate our actions. So there's a very psychic energy that is coming through this weekend, and again, like it behooves us to really try to tune in more deeply to that internal compass and follow the guidance or the hunches or the intuition that comes to us in this energy. It also could have a lot to do with helping us to see like a deeper level of our own worth or our own value, or see our own worth or our own value in a more like clear, true, or like personal way somehow as this energy unfolds. But you know, when we're talking about Taurus, Scorpio, we're talking about Mars, the self, and the opposition to Jupiter in Taurus. This is helping to expand our sense of self-worth also. Now, again, the other octave of this energy, we don't want to let it get to our head. And a lot of people are going to be doing that. A lot of people are going to be taking this Mars Jupiter energy and really just letting it blow up their ego, making people, you know, feel like they're on top of the world and they really can like do or be or accomplish anything. And again, we do have an expanded ability to do and be and accomplish anything in this energy, but it is best utilized for something that is like productive for, you know, self-growth somehow, or in terms of our resources, or in terms of what we're building or what we're creating, and not so much in terms of just like our own like personal feelings or emotions needing to be put on display in some excessive ways. People are probably really going to be doing that type of stuff as well. We can gain some true wisdom, insight, and understanding into the deeper nature of ourselves and use it to help us grow personally or we can allow ourselves to get totally carried away in our own like self-image, in our own ego, which can ultimately work to some type of detriment. So this is the background energy that we have playing out all week. Now let's talk more specifically about exactly what else we have going on Monday, which I have already talked a lot about, which I really like in combination with the Mars-Jupiter energy, and that is Sun entering Scorpio. Vibe shift. We're really getting deep into these Scorpio vibes now, and that is putting the Sun into exact trine with Saturn, who is currently at 0 degrees of the sign of Pisces. So we're talking about a 0-degree trine on Monday between the Sun in Scorpio, Saturn in Pisces. Insane work ethic and self-discipline and self-control coming through. And I also feel like I said, this energy is going to be helping us to regulate our emotions as we move through this week, so that we're less likely to get carried away by maybe this emotional energy that is just kind of getting whipped up, and like meltdowns. Okay, that's what keeps coming to my mind when I'm thinking of this energy. Either some type of an emotional eruption or some type of an emotional meltdown could be going on with people as a result of this buildup of this excessive emotional energy. If it is not being channeled properly through constructive work, and we know it's constructive work that is the outlet for this energy because of the Sun also now being the sign of Scorpio, trining Saturn. There is no more clear aspect or energy that indicates constructive self-discipline, focused, self-control, work, duty, like concentration, than a Sun trine Saturn energy. This energy assists the achievement really of any objective. When you've got a Sun trine Saturn going on, it's like the work and the completion of the work is really what sort of gives us life, but it's like there's a facilitation and an ease through which we are able to perform whatever work needs to be done, whatever we are working on, and our ability to focus and concentrate and control ourselves flows with tremendous ease. We've got this Sun trine Saturn aspect happening. And in the water energy, as I just mentioned, in the context of this is why I love it so much. It's like we have this excessive emotional energy that could cause some issues just because of the intensity and the passion of it if we are not channeling it properly. But because of this trine playing out also in these water signs, we don't even have to try. It's like we're just naturally channeling it properly, like to a higher extent than normal, with this energy coming together, and it's helping to regulate this heightened and intensified emotional energy that is playing out in congruence with Mars in the opposition to Jupiter and the Sun in the sign to Saturn. So it's really the perfect energy to channel, like I've said, this excess emotional energy into work, into projects, into goals, also self-analysis, introspection, with this Scorpio energy and the Jupiter-Mars energy, gaining a greater understanding of the deeper aspects of our own selves, our motivations, our drives, perhaps also maybe how we can free ourselves from some more self-sabotaging patterns or toxic attachments of the past could be coming through in the insight that we are gaining or have the potential to gain in this energy. And it's also really good for organization. As I've said, get projects done, also cleaning, tackling things that normally you might avoid. This is also with the Scorpio energy. This is also like maybe like the more dirty or like unpleasant jobs, like really getting into it and finding that it goes easier or smoother than you may have expected or anticipated, or perhaps there's even something positive or like especially productive that comes from it. Building and creating things as well is going to be really good energy with the Taurus Scorpio, especially like things of value to us somehow, or also maybe breaking down, detaching from, deconstructing something that maybe has been presenting blockages to our ability to grow somehow. So super supportive energy, you guys, for manifestation and the successful completion of goals and projects. People are going to be emotionally motivated to take action, to get to work, to produce, to create, to finish something. And that is the way we want to be using this energy, not spiraling out of control in like a mess of like embroiled emotions that we just don't know what to do with and feel like we're just sort of drowning in, because that could be also also kind of the way that this plays out, because again, like Jupiter expands energy. This could also be like heightened like anger, okay? Like all the Mars vibes are going to be expanded regardless of the octaves that they may be manifesting in, but at its highest level, we are looking at self-understanding on some deeper levels, okay? And finally, in the energy on Monday, the last thing we really have going on, we've got a moon in Aquarius that is forming a square to Uranus. There could be an element of things happening suddenly or unexpectedly, emotional upsets, feeling maybe like overburdened by something and maybe a need or desire to break free from something, to be spontaneous, to do something like different or out of the ordinary. This could also be bringing in a bit of a shock factor, just because whenever we've got the moon and square to Uranus, that's always a potential or possibility. Moving into Tuesday, though, let's talk briefly about the energy for Tuesday. We have black moon energy that's coming in Tuesday, carrying us through Wednesday and into Thursday. Black moon and Virgo energy. We could especially, this is going to be especially impacting people that have strong, dominant Virgo Pisces in your charts. Okay, so especially if you got a lot of Virgo or Pisces energy and you're finding yourself maybe like drawn to feeling, like on the darker side of life, the darker side of things, maybe like the negatives seeming more dominant in your experience, feeling like a failure, feeling like you're never good enough, depression, internalized anger could be going on as well with the excessive Mars, Jupiter, Scorpio energy. This could also be bringing up financial fears and worries. It's black moon energy, you guys. This is not what we want to be attaching to. This is just coming up to kind of show us, where these fears, worries, insecurities, and doubts are kind of lurking within us, and what we kind of need to, what maybe like patterns or cycles of maybe like negative self-talk we allow ourselves to be kind of pulled into. And it could just be making things honestly like look a bit bleaker. Of course, right now we also have Saturn in an opposition to the black moon. So when the moon enters the sign of Pisces, the moon will form a conjunction to Saturn, form an opposition to the black moon. The moon will also, though, on a positive note, form a trine to the sun. Okay, so on one hand, like this is a harmonious flow of energy whenever we have the sun and the moon forming a trine. So it's not like we're in this like conflict ridden energy. However, we could just be feeling sort of like an inability maybe to like express our feelings. We could be feeling a need also for maybe some like strong boundaries somehow, which is kind of interesting in the context of the Jupiter energy, because Jupiter like fully lacks boundaries, but a moon in conjunction to Saturn, this is like feeling very we need to put like sort of walls around ourselves, or like emotionally isolated, or like an inability to really like sort of connect on a deeper emotional level. I feel like this is honestly though kind of just like hermit energy, feeling very withdrawn maybe from the world and just very like drawn deeply into ourselves, which could also be being reflected by this enhanced Mars Jupiter energy, where Mars is in Scorpio, and this is also more of like an internalized, like deeply reflective energy as well. So, on one hand, moving into the energy on Tuesday, there could be these just more like dark shadow side issues that we're dealing with. We could feel sort of limited or repressed maybe in our ability to communicate our feelings or to connect with other people generally. Maybe dealing with feeling like there's just walls or boundaries around us maybe that we can't break through, or that we need to put up walls or boundaries for some reason. But again, with the sun in the trine as well, this is another indication. Sun trine Saturn with the moon there. This is enhancing the sun Saturn trine energy even more. So in the moon, this is our emotions, this is our feelings, okay? This is going to have a lot to do with that water sign energy. So really, it seems to be accentuating even more that it's just a good time to channel any of this emotional energy into what we're working on. It's going to be a good thing for us somehow, even if while we're doing it, we're like, this is crap. I feel like such a failure. You know, we're totally doubting ourselves or being like extremely overly judgmental or overly critical of whatever it is that we're working on right now, whatever we're doing. It may seem like it's just going to turn to nothing, or it's just like not good or something like that. I promise you that's actually not the case. It's just our current like sense or perception of things on Tuesday. We have the ability, actually, the truth is, the reality is we have the ability to overcome literally anything that blocks our path at all, be it on a physical, emotional, mental level, whatever. We just need to believe in ourselves, which is another thing that we're being assisted with in this Jupiter-Mars opposition energy that is also an enhanced ability to believe in ourselves. So we've got contradictory energy going on for sure on Thursday, or I mean, not Thursday, Aubrey, Tuesday. So we could feel sort of like back and forth about some things, maybe wavering between like totally doubting ourselves and feeling, you know, caught in, you know, these fears, maybe financial restrictions, or feeling like we just can't move forward for some reason, but simultaneously also maybe having this like glimmer of deeper understanding that, you know, we can do it, and simultaneously maybe something happening that is giving us an ability to have faith or confidence in ourselves somehow. Energy is indicating double time though, you know, triple double over focused work and effort put into something this week, especially this excess energy that we have going on. It's going to be so much, it's going to work out so much better for you this week to channel energy into productive stuff that can make your life better somehow, rather than channel energy into like going after somebody who like triggered you on an ego-based level. Like that's sort of the difference. It's like you can choose to use this energy to like launch an attack on somebody from like an emotional level and like stir up all this heated drama and like have these temper tantrums and stuff like that, or you can take this emotional energy and use it to like fix a problem, to like make sure that whatever it is like doesn't happen again, or make sure whatever like irritation or like blockage or thing that is causing these like deeper feelings or whatever to be coming up, like find the solution, find the remedy, or root out the cause, and like create a situation so that like going forward you don't have to face that same type of issue. That's how we want to use the energy. We don't want to allow ourselves to lose control and just go after people. It's not gonna be the most productive outcomes for us. Hard work balances excessive emotions this week, grounds us, prevents emotional meltdowns, especially again, hard work to improve ourselves somehow or to improve our resources, taking action to work on something to make something better for ourselves somehow. It also could be in terms of our weaknesses or our fears that are coming up in the black moon energy. It will also be beneficial. This is also energy where maybe some of the fears, weaknesses, insecurities that do come up with the black moon are kind of like coming up to show us, you know, maybe what we need to fix or what we need to work on so that we actually feel more secure and we can alleviate maybe some of our anxieties that way in this energy this week, where we do have the energy, we do have the drive and the motivation, and we do have the like concentration and the ability to like tangibly make things happen. So I actually like this week of energy in the context of the rest of this month, especially very like things happening, busy energy, also this like financial element of stuff going on as well. Deals, investments. Again, we want to be very strategic with everything that we do. This is not energy where we just want to follow. We want to follow the impulses that come to us as long as they are in alignment with things that we are working towards and for. We don't want to necessarily follow the impulses that come to us if they have to do with emotions just sort of having a eruption in any way. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say about the astrology for today and tomorrow, and really characterizing a lot of what we have going on this week. Let's talk about the tarot now for a minute. There's an interesting message also that is coming out today. It has a lot to do with removing blockages, okay, to our ability to move forwards towards manifesting our goals in some type of a way. And that may be actually like what is kind of being revealed to us in this energy building into the full moon with the Mars Jupiter opposition. It could actually have a lot to do with like what we're finding out inspiring us to like make some changes to what we're putting our money, time, and energy into going forward, okay? And this also, you know, is kind of reminding me of the Jupiter and Taurus stuff with the Mars and the opposition, like really figuring out what it is that we value, what we're attached to and connected to and enmeshed with, and like if that is really productive and beneficial to our own like to enhancing our own value and to enhancing our own worth and to our own personal growth moving forward. Okay, and this is why I'm saying all of this. We've got a lot of reversals coming out in the cards. So, I mean, this could also be talking about a period of reversals underway as well. I've been talking a lot about how this Libra season was going to have a lot to do with reversals and judgments, reversals in terms of like just the way that things maybe have been in relationships. Also could have to do with like closure and tying up loose ends and moving on from things. But a majorly transformative period going on right now in terms of relationship dynamics. But the cards that we had coming out in terms of the tarot, we've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse, and then we had the Ten of Wands in reverse, and then we had the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. In combination, like these cards are talking to me about like something that cannot continue to go on, some type of commitment, whether it be some type of like financial situation. There is something that has become like too burdensome essentially to continue to carry, and it's like blocking our ability to grow and move forward in some type of thing. And it could have to do with like the people or the associations that are involved. It's like something that has been preventing us from like moving towards, you know, working towards a goal and or fulfilling a project, like getting something done, building something, creating something. Now, in terms of the rest of the tarot cards that I'm looking at today, it's interesting because we also have the Star and the High Priestess. This to me is sort of talking about this Mars-Jupiter opposition energy, exposing a deeper layer of something to us. Like the depths of something being exposed in a way that inspires us somehow. And underneath those cards, we have more reversals. And we've got the King of Pentacles, we've got the Emperor, we've got the Strength card in reverse. But then, you know, on top of this, we had the High Priestess and the Star. Like all of this reversed energy, it's like it's reminding me of being in a place where we are doubting ourselves, where or not even necessarily doubting ourselves, but where we're like not understanding like our true abilities and our true capabilities. But with the High Priestess and the Star being the only upright cards, it's again, it's like some type of secret that we're gaining an awareness of, or a deeper level of something, or deep seeing into our own depths, or understanding a mystery, or like tapping into something like deep within us that we didn't know was there, showing us the truth of our power in a way that actually helps us to like turn the tables on something, like come back into a place of like personal authority and begin to move forward in a way that we can like really begin to expand and to grow. And with the North Node right now transiting the sign of Aries as well, also ruled by Mars, as I said in my last video, everything that is going on right now, you guys, has to do with personal growth, and it has to do with us having some type of personal mission that we need to fulfill right now on like a greater like activating destiny type of level, like a level of self-mastery we need to arrive at over the course of this next year, whether it be something minor or something very significant in our lives. And it seems as though whatever we have playing out in this energy is inspiring us or filling us with a level of confidence and like belief in ourselves to overcome maybe like the blockages to like realigning with our own sense of self-empowerment or something along those lines. So that's how I feel like this tarot message is coming through. Honestly, this one is a little bit more difficult for me to interpret, but the more I look at these cards and the more I think about the symbolism, you know, associated with them, I feel like this is talking about acknowledging or, you know, coming up against our own personal weaknesses, but in such a way where we're gaining a deeper awareness into like the deeper levels and layers of our own power that is helping us to conquer and overcome things that have held us back in the past, resulting from an inability to be in a proper place of authority, I guess, in our own lives. So that's what I'm saying about the tarot today, you guys. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what is one final piece of advice? And that took no time to come out. Don't fight it. Okay. And with the Mars-Jupiter opposition, again, like people could really be sort of like having a short fuse, I guess we could say, over the course of the week. So our advice is not to fight things. Release those subject to bondage, Hebrews 2:15. Whatever type of restriction or bondage you find yourself experiencing, don't fight against it mentally. Know God will open up a new door for you and lead you to peace and freedom. So we're maintaining the faith, you guys. That's what we're keeping in mind as we go throughout this energy. And that's what I have to say today. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would be into this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate knowing how this energy is affecting you guys if out there in your experience. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And if you want to know what's on this whiteboard right here, I post a picture of it in my Facebook group, which is also linked in my description box below. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Come back with me on Wednesday where we will be moving more into the energy of Jupiter and Mars in their opposition, and we're gonna have a lot more astrology to talk about. So I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful start to your week, and until next time, bye.